Hello everyone, welcome to Image Critiquing here at Click Love Grow, where I share with you a series of images from our community and I do a critique on them, which means telling you what I love about the images, what I think they've done really well, and most importantly, areas where I think the images could be strengthened, improved to create more impact in the image. Now, image critiquing can sound a little scary, but when you're learning photography, it's a really powerful tool to help you see what's going on in a photo, to help you be able to identify what works really well, what helps the image feel balanced and cohesive, and what are the areas that you could take on to start applying to your own photography. So getting your own work critiqued is really powerful. It's what we do inside our photography courses at Click Love Grow. We have an instructor team that always makes sure we look at your images and let you know if you're on the right track and the areas that can be improved. But even if it's not your own work, it is really helpful still to watch critiques or read critiques of other people's photography because it helps that part of your brain identify what's going on in a photo. It's really about learning how to see, because oftentimes when we're learning a new skill or we're learning photography, we can look at images and have really powerful reactions to them. We can think, oh my gosh, I love that photo so much. And it can also become a, wow, why don't my photos look like that? And so what we're doing, instead of taking that frustration as something that demotivates us, we're taking that opportunity to learn and inspire and understand why we love a photo, why an image has been put together so beautifully, so that you can then do the same in your own photography and create images that you love. Now, today I'm going to be looking at a series of newborn or baby images. Newborn photography is something for many of us we really want to master when we have our own kids, but it's also a beautiful genre of photography that allows you to work as a photographer and be able to capture those gorgeous images for other families as well. Now, we have a studio newborn photography workshop coming up at Click Love Grow. Amy Philp is a beautiful professional photographer. She's been a workshop mentor here at Click Love Grow on a range of different topics. Last year we ran one on maternity and birth photography, and this time she's bringing us into her newborn studio and showing us how we can set up our own newborn studio photography, whether we have a dedicated space or it's something we're doing at home. And inside that workshop, she's going to be teaching you everything about working with clients, posing, bringing together, gorgeous images. But in addition to the workshop, I'm also going to be chatting with her over the next couple of weeks. She's taking us on a behind the scenes studio tour. This is a free video that you'll get to join in and watch, where she shows you the top things you need to set up your own studio. And I am holding a call with Amy next week. And so if you're on our email list, be sure to check that out, where again, she's going to be talking to us about what you really need to set up an effective and successful studio space to be able to capture gorgeous images. So let's go have a look at the critiques for this week. Again, like I said, we've got beautiful baby photography from our community, and I've also included one from Amy's, and I'm going to share with you why I love these images, what I think have been done really beautifully, and some tips to help you improve your photography. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with this beautiful image by Amy Philp. It's a really gorgeous classic studio newborn image, and I think it's a really successful one that allows us to look at what are the elements here that are working really beautifully that you could use in your own images as well. So let's start with the classic, that is composition. Compositionally, this photo feels really beautifully balanced. It just works really nicely, and let's talk about why. So baby is centered here right in the middle of the frame, but she is framed by mum's hands coming over either side of her. Not only that, she's framed by the cushion here, which provides this great sort of framing element with the square here. And then again, we've got this beautiful symmetry on either side of the blanket coming down either side. So it's creating really gorgeous shapes here that is surrounding baby. But let's talk about mum's hands. One of the things I love about newborn photography is being able to include family and the parents and mum inside that image for the extra storytelling and that point of connection. So here we have, compositionally, mum's arms are coming down either side. And so that really works nicely to frame baby, but also just symbolically, mum has her arms around baby on either side, which I think is really beautiful. For perspective and scale, we have mum's hands sitting on the baby, which works really nicely. And it's just, like I said, that point of connection and extra storytelling that works really nicely. So compositionally, we've got this overhead perspective that works beautifully. Baby is in the center. Baby is framed by all these gorgeous elements that compositionally work really nicely. So let's talk about two other things. The second one is the color tones in this. The color palette just feels so soft and beautiful. It really suits a baby image. I think bright colors can absolutely work really effectively, and I've got another image that does that really nicely. But in this one here, the softness of the tones match the softness of the textures that then match the softness of the subject, which is, a beautiful, soft, squishy baby. Soft hands on either side helps to accentuate all of that. And then finally, the lighting is really beautiful in this image. And so lighting is one of those key things that will make or break an image. And so you could set up this exact shot with this exact composition, and if you didn't have enough light, or you didn't have soft lighting, or even if the light was coming from a different direction, you could have a very different looking image that didn't feel as cohesive. And so this beautiful soft light coming from this direction here, it's nice and high, it's nice and filtered. So we do want some directional light because that's what provides the shadowing and that little bit of contrast. And so coming from this direction is great, but we also want it to be nice and soft so that those shadows aren't too harsh. So this is a gorgeous studio newborn shot. This is taken by Amy Philp, who will be leading our next creative workshop at Click Love Grow, teaching us all about the techniques that she uses in setting up this style of image, the props she uses, but also how she works with the parents, how she runs the sessions, and you'll be able to watch her in action of how she's actually running these sessions, and lots of useful tips around working with this age group as well. Okay, so going on to our community images, here's a really beautiful shot by Teresa, Carlson. And so in this instance here, there are vibrant, beautiful colors, and I just love it. Again, for the personality and the storytelling in using the gorgeous rich tones in this wrap that then match baby's head. So what do I love about this photo? I love the pop of color. I think it's just so fun. I love the overhead perspective because I think the storytelling is really powerful in this shot. And so, for those of us that have had small babies in a hospital setting, this is such a familiar image, looking down over that glass, or that clear baby crib that the bubbas get put into in hospital, and just all the feelings and emotions that come from that experience, right? You've got all those storytelling pieces there, even with the baby blanket, or the hospital sheet rather, on the mattress there. So perspective wise, I love it. Storytelling is beautiful. Placement of the baby, how it's been framed, I really, really love. Baby's facing the light, which again is fantastic. We've got this gorgeous soft light coming onto baby's face. I think the only thing that jumps out at me here is I would just say maybe the highlights are a little too high on baby's face. And so potentially what I'd be looking at there is just bringing down those highlights a little bit. We almost lose some of the detail there on baby's face. Not quite, but it's heading in that direction. And obviously this is a setting where we don't necessarily get to control the light or how soft it is. If there were some shears there, that would be a great opportunity to pull them just to dim that light a little bit, or just bring exposure down a little bit, or in post-processing, bring those highlights down a little bit there. But placement to the light is fantastic. Perspective is great. I absolutely love all those colors in the wrap and think that it's a great storytelling image that just brings so much emotion, seeing the photo, set up like this from hospital. Okay, here's another one that I just think is so super sweet from Rebecca Patterson. So Rebecca, I absolutely love the simplicity in this shot. We often talk about, clearing the clutter, making sure that we have a simple setup so that our subject can shine. And this is a great example of that because you've got Bubba on a nice plain background. I really love the texture and detail in probably the doona cover that's being used here. And in doing so, we're able to get these beautiful, gorgeous expressions. Again, you're overhead, you've got direct eye contact with baby. I love the little squishy hands up to the face, and it's such a realistic moment. Like, I just want to grab, that bib and pull it down and, give them a squishy cuddle because it's such a gorgeous age to capture their personalities. So I think you have set this up really, really beautifully. The lighting is nice and soft. Only the tiniest thing here that I will mention is the light appears to be quite low. It's almost like I want to grab baby and just roll them over a little bit to get a little more light onto their face and into their eyes, because you absolutely have the light coming in a fantastic direction. It seems though the window or whatever it is, maybe the light feels a little bit low. And so maybe either getting closer to the light source or getting baby a little bit lower so the light is a little bit higher would just give you a little bit more light in baby's eyes. But that's a small thing that you could play with. I think overall the composition is lovely. I love the negative space that you have around baby here. I love the simplicity that you've used. And it just all works really nicely together. Okay. Here is another, oh my gosh, looking at all these baby photos, and I had so many to choose from, by the way. Thank you to everyone who shared their images. But oh my gosh, I was just loving looking at all these gorgeous shots. So this one's from Courtney, Yean. Such a lovely capture. A really new baby, and those classic beautiful expressions and the yawn and the little fingers that we have here and the little fingers tucked away under the swaddle. Really, really lovely. So what do I love about this shot? Again, you've set it up with such simplicity that we're drawn straight into the expressions of little Bubba here in the shot. I love these muslin wraps. So I think the texture here is so lovely. You're giving us that great storytelling piece of having baby wrapped up. Compositionally, I do like the negative space. I like the perspective. I think for me, it feels like baby is quite upright. And so I can't tell if this is an overhead shot taken where baby's lying down or if baby is in fact propped up a little bit. I think it works. Maybe compositionally, if we could have had this piece up here with the same gorgeous blanket that is behind baby, I think this piece just jumps out at me a little bit. And so it feels slightly off balance, but that is such a minor point. I think, again, the lighting here is lovely and soft. Directionally, you have that light coming this way onto baby, which feels really nice. You've got a nice wide open aperture, which means you've caught all the detail and focus on baby's face, and then you have that disappearing focus for the rest of the image, which feels really nice. So I think you've done a great job in this image. I'd perhaps, and you probably got a whole series in this setup, which usually is what lots of us do. Compositionally, perhaps playing with some of the perspective and angles, but I think the expression here trumps all of that. Okay, another lovely image from Michelle Loza-Smith. I love the soft lighting that you have here. The color in his eyes just jumps out so nicely, especially being picked up by the color in his shirt that he has here, which is really lovely. So what do I think you've done really well? The simplicity again here is really lovely. It means we're looking straight at the gorgeous subject in the frame. Compositionally, the angle feels like there's a lot of negative space here. And again, this was probably a setup where you played with a lot of perspectives, and this was perhaps one that you felt was the best balance. And if that's so, that's totally fine. There's always going to be the case. But if you're ever taking an image like this, move yourself around a little bit and try getting different perspectives. I do feel like it feels to me a little bit like baby's up here and there's no context as to why there's all this negative space here, because we're only using half the image. So I would love to potentially see it so that, baby came around a little bit more. So they're more upright in the frame as opposed to diagonally on the side. It also feels to me just a little bit cool. So skin tone looks good, but I would potentially play with bringing a little bit of warmth into the image, just a smidge, and also potentially onto this white. It feels very stark, but that is something that is dependent on what you want as the finished look. But yeah, main one for me here is composition. I would play with some different perspectives, but your light is really lovely. I love the simplicity. The setup using the white soft blanket totally suits, the subject. And I think that's something to consider with babies. Those soft color tones, the softness of the fabrics and the textures that we're using help to tell the story of capturing that beautiful time of soft, squishy bubbers. And then whether we choose to use a simple color palette like Amy has done here in her shot, or potentially going with those brighter storytelling personality type colors, which I also love, just like Teresa has used in this image here, is totally up to you, up to the style of image that you're going for. But some things to remember are nice soft lighting for newborn photography, watching the angle that the light is coming from, and then keeping things really simple so that we can enjoy and appreciate whether it's the expressions, the personality of baby, or just, in this case here, that beautiful, soft, serene, sleeping face. Okay, they are our image critiques for today. Thank you to everyone who shared your images. And if you want to check out more critiques, head to our blog at clicklovegrow.com and check out our past videos where I walk you through a series of different images, sharing what works really well in photography and areas that you can focus on to continue and grow, and learning how to see so that when you pick up the camera, you're already thinking about those compositional techniques or those tones and colors that you want to bring into the shot to help you create images that have impact and tell stories and create mood and feeling in your viewer so you can capture beautiful memories. Now, if you're really interested in newborn photography, pro photographer Amy Philp is our upcoming workshop mentor here at Click Love Grow. She is running a workshop all about studio newborn photography, but in the next couple of weeks, I'll be chatting to her live on our Click Love Grow page. I'll share the link that you can RSVP to join us in that event or check out the replay. She's going to be talking about what you need to set up your own newborn studio, whether you have a dedicated space or you're doing it from home with limited space. She's going to talk about those essential items, and she's also going to be taking us on a behind the scenes studio tour through the space that she works with and the items and things that she loves. And of course, if you're interested in diving even deeper, do check out our workshop. You'll get to watch behind the scenes sessions. She'll be talking all about the business side of her studio newborn photography, how she sets up, the props she uses, post-processing, lots of techniques for working with newborns to keep them calm and happy so that you can have really beautiful, successful shoots and create gorgeous images for their families. That's it for this week's critiquing. I look forward to seeing you online again very soon. Have a great day. Bye.